I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. We're going to be taking you to a news conference being held in Columbus, an update on that mass shooting in the neighborhood called Short North. 10 young men, all under the age of 27, shot this weekend. All did survive. Let's take a listen in.
4855 Pintail Creek Drive. This is on the far east side. Shooting occurred at a block party in a parking lot where vehicles were doing donuts. 7 people injured in the shooting, all survived. We have not been able to identify any suspects out of this shooting. We know that this was a block party that was advertised on social media. We do believe that there is video out there of the incident, and we are asking for any help with this, any video that was collected, anybody with any tips regarding the promoted party and or what led to the shooting. We are asking you to call the felony assault unit on that, 645. We'll just go 4624 on that. So 614-645-4624 for that one. May 6, 2023, 1400 block of St. Clair Avenue. Victim's boyfriend shot her and then other members of the family before taking his own life. And so the suspect out of that shooting unfortunately died by suicide out of that. May 6, 2023, 624 North High Street. This is where additional shooting in the Short North. I believe 10 people were shot. We did have an officer-involved shooting that occurred at the conclusion of this incident. The BCI conducted a concurrent investigation with this. That was forwarded to the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office. In addition, we are seeking information related to this the non-police part of the shooting. We are conducting a criminal investigation into the 10 people that were shot. And we are seeking any tips for our homicide unit as well. So anything that the public could bring forward on that, we are talking to lots of individuals still out of that case. Our major case unit is investigating that. March 18, 2023, 1570 South High Street. This was at After Hours Club in Marion Village. A fight inside the bar escalated into gunshots inside the club. 2 people were killed. 4 other people were injured, and a suspect in this case was initially charged. Those charges were later dismissed. This was a shootout between several people inside the club. As is often the case with a lot of these shootings that are occurring at or in front of nightclubs, in after-hours clubs, we have multiple people armed with guns who are intoxicated, and then it becomes a situation of trying to identify who shot first, what started the argument, what started the fight, who escalated it first from a physical altercation into a gunfight. It is very hard for our detectives to solve these cases, and it is imperative that we get the community's help and support to try to ascertain and vet the facts of the case. So again, with that case, at this time, we do not have any current charges on anyone. January 29, 2023, 1680 Carl Court. This occurred at a gentleman's club in the Northland neighborhood. A adult male, 37 years old, died in the shooting. 3 other people were injured in the shooting. The suspect in that shooting, an adult male, has been charged with murder and is awaiting trial. And then the last mass shooting that was mentioned occurred on January 1st, 2023, that actually occurred on Franklin County's jurisdiction. They were investigating agency, and a suspect has been charged in that case. So that's all I have.
Yep. So we'll open it up for any questions you may have.
Regarding Sunday's shooting, what evidence has been recovered so far?
So it's an active, ongoing investigation. We did recover some video as well as some casings there, but due to the ongoing investigation, we won't be releasing any of that information.
Deputy Chief Weir just said that the mass shootings is the outlier in crime going down here in the city of Columbus. I mean, does that concern you, and what are your plans to stop this from happening again in the future?
Absolutely. When you have mass shootings, there are some things that the police can do proactively to prevent, right? So we know now that we have mass shootings that are at bars or hookah lounges or after hours. What we've done as a division is rotate our hours so that officers are staying later as the clubs are closing, but also doing our moonlight detail that we started up for the summer, our Safe Streets initiatives that specifically go after violent offenders, having our gang enforcement unit particularly target known offenders who are known to carry guns and become shooters. There's a multifaceted approach that we're doing, not with just us, but within external forces like Mothers of Murdered Columbus Children, OVP, Office of Violence Prevention, CVR, Columbus Violence Reduction. I will say this is not an anomaly just in Columbus. We trend across the country to see where we are, and mass shootings are happening across the country. It is a gun problem. It is the problem that people have access to guns that they may not have had in previous years. And then de-escalation techniques. People are shooting each other over small arguments that could be settled if somebody just chose to walk away.
Last year after the shooting, the mass shooting in the Short North, yourself, Chief, and the mayor presented some plans to reallocate resources, put more police officers there, put more cameras there. Are there any thoughts or plans about maybe adding a police substation closer to the Short North?
So I would tell you, we had a lot of police officers in the Short North over the weekend. The focus is that officers are exactly where we wanted them to be. They were present, they were in the media, they had their lights on, they were up and down the Short North engaging with our community. The issue is the brazen lack of accountability for our criminals. The fact that we had officers almost on every corner in the Short North at a time where the clubs are closing, people still decided to shoot at each other. And so as we look across how can we strategically plan, sometimes we can't outplan someone's behavior, but we're doing everything we can as a division. We're reaching out to our community partners. As you've seen, we've had a decrease in violent crime across every category. That didn't just happen with the police department. That is working collaboratively with our city employees, our grassroots organizations, and community initiatives. We've seen a decrease, but as we said, mass shootings are happening across the country, and this is the outlier. One of the things that we're asking the community to do is when you see things that are popping up, especially in businesses, warehouses, things that don't normally happen, please call us so that we could be ahead of it and not behind trying to locate people after the shooting has occurred.
There was a 16-year-old victim. I mean, I don't know if you know what the 16-year-old's involvement was, but knowing that there was a 16-year-old in the Short North is concerning. Does this worry you about juvenile crime picking up throughout the summer?
Absolutely. That's why we have all these initiatives. Mayor Ginther, even our division, we have community programs across the city. We're asking parents to be parents, right? Make sure your kids are in home at a reasonable time, but also just avail yourself to the services in a community for all of these organizations. We have midnight basketball that's starting up in some of the communities. We want these children to have a place where they can safely engage in activity, but not with guns in their hands, not with fear of being shot. But we also know when you have a 16-year-old or 14-year-old after hours at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no good that can come from that, especially if they're not with their parents.
How effective or valuable have these portable camera units that you've deployed through the Short North been in the past year?
I would say very valuable, but they're not just in the Short North. We have them deployed across the city. What it does help us is we have video available that we can utilize. And that's how we're solving our cases between community partnership, tips that we're receiving, the fact that we do have technology and we're using every resource, the fact that we have a mini real-time crime center embedded in headquarters. All of these things together have helped us to reduce violent crime. But we can't be a police issue only. It has to start with parental guidance, knowing where your kids are. It has to start with people taking accountability for anger management, de-escalation. Those are all the things that we're looking at with our community partners. How do we move forward in 2024 and into 2025 to continue to see the decrease that we have?
That white Honda Civic initially.
Let's take one more.
That white Honda Civic initially got away. Columbus Police has 5 helicopters at their disposal. How many were in the air? And did you ever have eyes on them with those helicopters?
So we and I don't know if Chief Sago, if you know if the helicopter was in the air at that time, but we had several other initiatives across the weekend we did utilize helicopters. But I would tell you the officers did exactly what they were supposed to do. Sometimes in real life situations, in real time moments, the officers have to make a decision. Do we continue to pursue a vehicle that can ultimately kill someone else, or do we back away from that vehicle when we already have a plate and we can identify it other ways? I think officers did exactly what they were trained to do in this instance, and instead of talking about what they didn't do or did do, we're asking the community to step up, help become a partner, which they have, but also hold these accountable. Being outlying in this being this initiative, we know that these mass shootings will continue to occur across. Come together as a community, talk about gun safety, talk about de-escalations, and have our community continue to be the partner that they have been.
Downtown, do you have a message for businesses that are worried about, this impacting their business, their livelihood? I'm sorry, Jen.
I will tell you that Columbus is safe. The business community in the Short North is safe. We encourage our citizens to continue to do what they've done all summer and all winter, continue to go to those bars, restaurants, boutiques, continue to spend your dollars. And as a division, we are ensuring that we will do everything we can to continue to make Columbus a safe city. And ultimately, our goal is to make it the biggest, safest city in the country. Thank you.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. As the Columbus police wrap up their comments on this weekend's mass shooting, you heard the spokesperson for the police department say this is happening everywhere, and unfortunately in Cleveland we've seen it as well. On our West 6th district last year when we had the mass shooting, and we had officers there, and as you heard Columbus police say, their officers were in place in the Short North. It's a very popular bar district, restaurant district. They had officers in place as the clubs were letting out. But the spokesperson for the Columbus Police Department said the shooters with guns don't care. That's how brazen they are, that they take no responsibility for their actions. And she said this is a gun access problem. You have too many people who think they are willing to use guns instead of just walking away from a fight. That, according to the Columbus Police Department. We'll have a complete update on the violent weekend in Columbus, as well as all of our local news coming up at 3 o'clock when we start 3.5 hours of breaking news and weather on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.